Hello, this is TimeRider at Chapter 4. First off, I want to thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I hope you enjoy my work. Today I'm going to do a restoration that I've wanted to do for a while. It's one of the first Matchbox that I ever purchased. But I needed to wait for a shipment to come from all the way across the pond, from my new friends at Black Star Decals. Tonight, I'm going to be working on the Matchbox number 74 Daimler double-decker bus. As I understand it, there was a certain amount of angst when they stopped making the Roadmaster, which was a very popular Matchbox, and began making this one. But this one is equally as interesting in my mind. They made three variations, a cream, a red, and a green. My understanding is that in the real world, the red buses operated in London, and the cream and the green ones operated elsewhere. And the red ones are fairly popular, although much harder to find. Also, if you can find one without the standard SO decal on the side, those are also highly sought after. Mine came with nothing, and it isn't in very good shape. It's pretty beat up, lots of chips. The decals are gone, so I don't know what it said on it when it was first produced. But I know what it's going to say on it when I'm done. I purchased mine with a lot of several Matchbox, and I paid just under $3 for it. As I was looking at it though, I discovered that there weren't any posts on the bottom, so I had to figure out how to get it apart. I see that there's a tab on the front, but on the bottom there was no post to drill out. As it turns out, the post was kind of tucked in a little cubby in the back. So I took my Dremel and a little grinding ball that I have, because I can't really get a drill in there without drilling a hole in the model, and I began to kind of grind away at the post itself, figuring that I could get it out that way. Once the post was drilled out, it was a simple matter of taking a screwdriver and popping it apart. The two levels of plastic seats came out pretty much the same way. It's interesting to note that on the green and the red versions, the seats looked like they were brilliant white, and these tend to be a little bit more yellow. I don't think they were aged or anything, I just think that's what they did. So anyway, here's the body removed from the chassis and the seats, ready to get the paint stripped. I've noticed that some models don't strip as easily as others, but I'm getting to learn just by looking at the paint which ones will work with my citrus stripper and which ones require the aircraft stripper. This looked like citrus stripper would work, so I sprayed it on all sides and left it on for 30 minutes to wait for the paint to begin to peel. At that point, I took Marty's wife's toothbrush, which he sent to me from Australia, and began scrubbing the paint off. It came off pretty easy, just like I thought it would. I've typically used dental picks and toothpicks to get the last remnants of paint out of cracks, and then I had this epiphany that I thought, you know what? I bet a safety pin, which is very sharp, would work in some of these crevices. I could get it under the paint, and the paint would come off in one big long curl. They say even a blind squirrel finds an acorn now and again, and as it turned out, I was right. You could peel off great big sections, and any scratch that might be put there by the sharp safety pin would be hidden by the primer. Once clean, it was time to prime. I really like this fine Tamiya primer that I heard about on another channel. It lays on real nice, And as is typical, it shows any flaws that might be in the surface of the die cast itself. Once done and I looked at the roof, I noticed a couple of small depressions in the top of the bus itself. And I knew that when I painted it, because it was such a large flat surface, that they would show up like nobody's business. There must have also been a couple of specks of dirt that left some small pebbling, so I decided to address that. I didn't have a lot of experience working with modeling putty, but this was my first attempt, so I smeared it on and it dried so quickly. But I think I got enough on there that I can fix this particular problem. A little bit of fine sandpaper and it looked as good as new. I found this enamel paint called Ivory that I really liked. Laid on a couple of coats, and here I am putting a clear coat on the top of that. So here's the final reveal. I did a lot of the assembly off camera. I used a little bit of epoxy on that post to put the thing back together and touched up the wheel hubs a little bit. I'm actually pretty happy with it. Those are the decals I got from Black Square Decals in England. You'll notice under the third window on the left side of the bus I had to do a little repair, and maybe someday I'll go back and fix it, but I was too far along at that point with the decals already on it. I didn't want to strip it all down and wait another 3 weeks for small decals to come from England. But there it is, the Daimler double-decker bus by Matchbox. This is TimeRider at Chapter 4. Thanks for watching, and please be sure to subscribe.